Hello,
I'm Elissa,
and I'm Rebecca.
and welcome to our knitting podcast.
If you haven't heard, we started knitting.
If you haven't heard, this has been my first full year of knitting. You joined.
Pretty late in the game,
Yeah.
but I still have a few things to share.
Yeah, we've grown a lot, like a lot. Crazy to think I didn't even know how to do my increases correctly a year ago, and it shows. We're going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly here. This does not show 4 months of knitting.
We're going to share all of the projects we made this past year, 2024, and I think we're just going to get started.
My first sweater is the Daisy sweater by Silvara Knitwear. And my knitting on this does not do the pattern justice. I will just start off with that. I cast this on December 2nd of 2023, and I didn't finish it until the end of March 2024. So it was on the needles for 120 days. This was like my pride and joy at the time. And then I finished it and I was like, this does not show 4 months of knitting. It's a fingering weight color work sweater. Had I knit anything in fingering weight or color work before? No. Had I knit a raglan sweater before? No. I don't know what gave me the confidence to think that I could pull this off, but I went for it. I did my increases all incorrectly, so there's like holes along the raglan, which is really fun.
I've done that too.
I learned the next sweater that I made what I was doing wrong. I don't think I used the right yarn. I used the Fiberco Meadow, which is like a combination of merino, llama, silk, and linen. It's a great yarn, just maybe not the best because it like doesn't stick to itself. It grew so much. I don't think my tension was on, so I think I should have knit a different size. I didn't gauge swatch. Still don't even know what my gauge was for this sweater. Also made that mistake. I had to reknit the entire body at one point in time because I was doing the color work incorrectly with increases, so all of my flowers were crooked. It was really a really fun realization.
How far along were you?
I think I was down to like here. I was past the split for sleeves. But other than that, the pattern is wonderful. There's Japanese short rows. Didn't know what those were either. So the back is kind of, nice and high. Again, I think I should have knit a different size or fixed my tensioning or something. So I don't really wear this a whole lot, which is a bummer. But it's a beautiful pattern. I also should have picked a different color. There's just a lot of things looking back that I would do differently. But it's like my first thing that I was like really proud of knitting where I was like, yeah, I knit that. Now it's not my favorite, but sometimes I feel like I could go back and reknit it or something and do it better. So that's the Daisy sweater. The next sweater I knit was the polo sweater. And I really said, I'm not spending 120 days on a sweater because I knit this one in 17 days. I just was like on a roll. This is by Originally Lovely. I use like a loops and thread, whatever the Michaels brand is, superwash merino, which also probably wouldn't use a superwash. Now looking back, it grew substantially. I made a couple modifications in terms of like the length of the V-neck on this, and it still feels too low. Like I have to wear it with a shirt underneath. But otherwise, I feel like I wear this all the time. It's very versatile. The other issue is the neckline really like flares out. So I tried to do like a slip stitch crochet to pull it in, but it still just like flops out. So not the end of the world. I do really like it though. Very versatile, very cute. It's a fun one. I like the little polo on it. Makes you feel fancy. All right, the next thing that I knit, so it's a lot of my knitting at first, and then we get more of Rebecca's, was the April cardigan by Petite Knit. And I loved this pattern. This one was really fun. It's got that like compound raglan or the saddle shoulder. I don't know, but it's really fun. I used a yarn that I got from the thrift store, which is like 100% alpaca, and it was really, really soft. And then I wear it and it's so itchy. Yeah, it's bad. And you get like, you see the alpaca hair, like they get in your mouth. It's bad. It's a bad time. I do love the pattern and I wear this occasionally. I just have to wear like a right shirt underneath that's nice and thick so I don't feel the itchiness of it. Let's see. That's about it for that. Oh, I did a double knit button band instead of the ribbed button band. And I found a pattern on YouTube. You don't have to break the yarn for the buttonholes, which is wonderful because I hate weaving in ends. So that's my first April cardigan of the year. Now we get into some gift knitting. I was feeling very much like, oh, wow, I've knit a lot of things for myself. I think somebody even asked me, they were like, oh, who are you knitting this for? I was like, me. And that really made me feel like I should knit things for other people because there's a lot of knit-worthy people in my life, including my sister Rebecca. For her birthday, I knit her the novice slipover, and I added some little floral embroidery. It was inspired by the Room to Bloom sweater by Kutavikika and the Alice sweater by Kalibi Johanna. So this is the novice sweater by Petite Knit. It was super easy, knit up really, really fast, like less than a month. I really like it. It looks really cute on you.
I really like it. Everyone who sees me wearing it wants one. This kind of ignited the knitting. I don't know what we would say. Just the interest and made me start thinking about what it would be like to knit. So yeah, I love this one.
As do I. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just steal it. It was so quick and easy because there's no sleeves. So you're like, I want to be done with this sweater. And then you're like, well, I am, because there's no sleeve island. So I used the Barocco Ultra Wool, and it's like so squishy and it's lovely. You should just keep that on. It's so perfect. After that, I knit the Claude sweater for our younger sister for her birthday. I have mixed emotions about this sweater. It doesn't really hang on a hanger very well because it is super, super heavy. It is all garter stitch. It's knit flat and seamed, which I didn't realize when I bought the pattern. It's also just like a very oversized design. The sleeves are like balloon sleeves, so I probably could have shortened them substantially, but I didn't know because you seam it, so you can't like try it on and see how long the sleeves are going to be. I used like an acrylic yarn from Joann's because my little sister didn't know if she would A, find wool very itchy, or B, have the like patience to take care of a wool sweater. So she did say last night she definitely should have picked a different yarn. So next time I knit her a sweater, I'll have to knit it in like Knitting for Olive or something quality. She does like it. It is cute. She pulls off this style really well. So we're almost to things Rebecca knit. So after the Claude, I knit back into an April cardigan. I wanted something versatile. It was like getting towards summertime. So let's see, I cast that one on in June and cast it off in July. Oh, I remember why I wanted to do this. I was going to a friend's wedding and I didn't have a little cardigan to wear with my dress. And so I was like, I'm going to knit one. And so I did. It was really down to the wire. I think I finished it the day before the wedding. Knit it with like a linen yarn though, a Patton's linen. And then I ran out of yarn and it was discontinued. So I did the button band with Sandus Garn Line. And thankfully Rebecca had and I was able to use some leftovers. But I love it. I wear it all the time. I have mixed emotions. Like the linen, it doesn't like form fit. So if I like sit like this with my elbows out, like you almost get like a balloon where the elbow is afterwards. But I just adore this sweater. I think I wear it at least like once a week. It goes with everything. Yeah, very comfortable. Those increases there, so much better than on my Daisy sweater. Yeah, super cute. One of my favorites. Then after the April cardigan, I actually knit one that we don't have here. I knit a blanket for that friend's wedding. Again, cast it off the day before the wedding. I don't know why I thought I could knit a blanket in 2 weeks, but I did. I wouldn't recommend it. I knit the Knit Seamless Quilt by Jessica Reeves. It was a really fun pattern where you do like alternating squares of seed stitch and stockinette with like purl or knit on one side. It uses like a bulky weight yarn, so I just used the Lion brand Hue and Me, which is mostly acrylic, but it has some wool in it, so it's all like machine washable, which is nice. It ended up being a very heavy blanket. Like there's a lot of drape to it, which is fun. I haven't talked to this friend since her wedding, so I don't know what she thinks about the blanket. I don't know. I really liked it though. It was a great blanket pattern, nice for a gift knit because it wasn't so labor intensive, but it definitely, that much weight on a blanket, knitting it hurt the wrists a lot. But I like that you didn't have to like sew things together afterwards. So that was my Knit Seamless blanket. Okay, the last one of mine before Rebecca's is my Cumulus tee. And this one was also a labor of love. It took forever. And it's kind of a shame. I finished it in mid-August, so I really didn't get a whole lot of chance to wear it in the summertime. So we'll see this summer if I end up wearing it more. It's knit in Pure Silk by Knitting for Olive, and it's a lovely yarn, but my gauge is super loose, so I ended up having to use like 2.25 millimeter needles. And knitting a whole shirt on that small needles was not my favorite thing. I don't really love the way the V-neck sits. Like looking back, I should have done the O-neck by Petite Knit instead. I had some issues with like the bind off. It kind of like cinches in, but maybe I think that'll kind of just grow over time. I also shortened the sleeves because I didn't really like a sleeve going all the way down to my elbow. Summers get hot, so I didn't really want to do that. So otherwise, I do really like it. It's pretty cute. I don't know how to get the I-cord bind off to not do this with the V-neck. It just kind of pulls the stitches and looks a little bit funky, but that's all right. It has a lot of nice drape to it. It's really pretty. Love the dusty artichoke. Now it is Rebecca's turn.
Woohoo! Yay! This is when my life changed. Here's the story. Elissa would post on her Be Real all the time of her knitting on her little balcony patio area. And I just thought to myself, man, I just want to be there with her and hang out with her and knit. Yeah. And so I picked up knitting so I could spend time with my sister.
We don't spend time together anyways, but we do spend a lot more time together now that we knit together.
Exactly. My idea worked, and I do really like knitting. Yeah. So this was my first project. I decided to do a tank top because I felt like it was less of a commitment, and it was summer. And I did the Home Camisole by Kadri in the Quince & Co. Willet, which is cotton linen blend in this beautiful color Aster. And then I made these little ties on the top. I'm obsessed. I wear it all the time. Very proud that this is my first garment. Yeah. Honestly, I think Elissa really showed me the way.
I think you learned from all my mistakes. I was like, don't do this, don't do that, and don't do this.
Yeah, I don't know where I would be without her. Yeah, I really like the I-cord bind-offs, and the pattern was great, although I can't find it, so that's kind of a bummer. If I ever want
somewhere on your phone or your laptop or something, we own this pattern.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so this was my first knit. Yay! And then Elissa made something.
Yeah. Then I decided to make the Cumulus blouse. Again, I should have made the O-neck, not the V-neck. I didn't learn from when I made the Cumulus tee, but I love this sweater a lot. I wear this at least once a week, if not more. I modified it to use a fingering weight yarn, so I used Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light and then Rowan Kid Silk Haze. This was the first time that I held a mohair with something because I was so nervous that it was going to be itchy. So it's not that bad, and I usually wear it over a t-shirt because the V-neck is like a little bit low and it's just kind of loose, and I played yarn chicken, and so it's a little bit short, so I don't actually find it that itchy. I love the little haze of the mohair. It is pilling some, but I also wear it a lot, so that would make a lot of sense. Probably one of the coziest things that I own, and it's just super easy to throw on over whatever you're wearing. That is my Cumulus blouse by Sisterknit. And then we have one of Rebecca's projects. We're like every other from this point, and it's pretty fun.
I did the Soul Top by Mochi Knits in the Sanus Garden Line color kit. And yeah, really love this one. It is kind of a bummer how this little tie situation is kind of transparent. Like there's holes. So you do need to wear something under it. But I don't mind. It's still so cute.
You shortened the armholes, right?
Yes, I did. Because otherwise it would be like, you'd be seeing a lot of stuff. So I altered it a little bit. Very pleased.
Didn't we realize, I think Mochi Knits has like the same exact pattern, but with a shortened armhole depth, and we didn't realize that till after she'd already ripped out part of this pattern. So looking back, we should have just done that one,
But you got to learn those things, you know, to read thoroughly and to read the reviews. Yep. And it was a good lesson to rip back. Now I realize
it's worth it.
It's worth it to get the article that you will actually wear. I finished this one in September, so it took me a month. Yeah. You'll learn later that I realize that knitting is a lot more enjoyable when you use bigger needles. So after the summer, I'm actually even more excited about knitting.
I'm excited for you to get to wear that one more this summer because it was like so end of summer that I think you wore it like twice. The next knit I don't have with me. It was a gift knit as well. It's the teddy bear sweater by Sisterknit, except I didn't put a teddy bear on it. I don't know why. I wanted to be fancy and do something different, and then it didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. I knit the size, I think, 3 to 6 months for my cousin who just had a baby in December. I tried to like math it out appropriately. I'm like, okay, how old will her kid be in the summertime? So I knit it out of like a baby cotton, hoping that it'll just, you know, be versatile enough. You know, I didn't want to knit a wool sweater when the baby's going to be 6 months in the summertime. So hopefully that kid wears it. They really seem to like it at the baby shower. I wanted to do like a little sunshine decal on it, and the yellow yarn that I had was 100% wool. And I didn't really think about that until after I had done the whole thing. I was like, shoot, this is like a machine washable garment. Like, you're not going to knit somebody a baby knit. That's not machine washable. That's stupid. Well, just like very inconsiderate of you almost. So I'm like, this is going to felt. So I machine washed it, and it did definitely felt. And I wasn't very pleased with it. But again, nobody else really seemed to notice or care. They just were like, wow, cute, a baby sweater. It also knit up really quickly. Almost makes me want to knit a bunch of things for babies because it's just so satisfying and so quick. So
then I also did the teddy bear sweater for my nephew, except for I did stripes, which was so cute, except for in the back where you transfer the color, you kind of got this ridge, and that bothered me, but they didn't care. And it was really cute. I used some random yarn you had left over, and then I found this blue yarn while at a flea market in their town. So it kind of was fun to incorporate that in his little sweater, and he rocks it all the time. So, and also I knit that one like on the way to his birthday party. I finished it. I have a tendency to doing that. Yeah, we both do. We're procrastinators. We do came up with that one on the fly, but yeah, I think I knit all of my gift knits like the day before they were due to be given. But it's all right. And I think Oliver's like the cutest little kid in that sweater. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. Next here, I've got probably my favorite sweater that I've ever made. My pride and joy. I've never been so proud than when I knit the sweater. This is the Salty Days sweater by Kutafakika, and I knit it in the knit along with Morgan Unraveled and Haley Space on Instagram, and that was like a very fun experience. I'd never been in a knit along, so it was a very fun environment just to be in a big group chat with a bunch of other people who knit, giving each other encouragement, showing off our knits or like advice. Some people had a lot of hiccups with this diamond chart. I don't think I was paying attention. I just knit it, you know, just more like intuitively. So I didn't catch that there was an error in the chart, which I think is a good memo to me. Like, maybe I shouldn't be a test knitter for things because I don't really look at the pattern. I just kind of, you get a picture and then you do it. You do it here.
Yeah. But then this was knit flat and then this was in the round. So it was like a different chart, I think. I don't know. I don't remember, but this was really fun. It was like the definition of a potato chip knit because you're just like, I want to do the next section. I want to do the next section. So you just kept going and going and going. And I use Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, which is so luxurious. I thought it was going to be like too dense, but I think because of the lace work, it's kind of light and airy and flowy. Definitely some pilling, but again, I think I wear this one also at least once a week. Like I just wear it all the time. It's so cozy. Oh, the other big thing. I modified the sleeves. I was like, what else did I do with this sweater? The pattern, I think, just has the 3x1 or the 2x1, this ribbing for the sleeves. And I saw somebody on Ravelry who had done the charted patterns on the sleeve. And I thought, I really want to do that. It took me like 3 tries to figure out how to do the decreases correctly then, like with the math of the charts and making sure it wasn't too wide. Like once was too wide, one was too small, and it felt like Goldilocks. The third try was just perfect. Like a week after I finished the first sleeve, somebody in the group chat actually charted out these type of sleeves in all the sizes for the people in the group chat, which I thought was super cool. A lot of work that I didn't do. I just said, if you want to do it like mine, I put some notes in my Ravelry page and you can figure it out as well. But that was really cool. But I was like, man, I just did all of that. I should have waited. But I love it. It's by far my favorite sweater and I wear it all the time. That's my Salty Days.
Speaking of salt, while Alyssa was making the Salty Days, I made the sea salt tea.
Not confusing at all when we were talking about our knits, but yeah.
Yeah, and we both, as we were writing in our notes that I made the sea salt tea, we spelled tea with like the tea that you drink. And then I proceeded to do the same thing. We're one and the same. But I made this sea salt tea out of an Eddie Bauer cotton that Alyssa had laying around. I really like the fabric. Like I was surprised. I think you got it at Joann's, but and then I used Knitting for Olive cotton around the edges, and I love this thing. It took me ages. This took me like 2 months, but I took it everywhere. You know, we went to Texas, we went to Canada. It's kind of fun. It did take a long time, and at this point I was ready for something that had a little more interest than just stockinette. But yeah, I love this. It kind of like pulls at the bottom.
These hems are so pretty and like look so polished and professional. I don't know, they just look so nice. You did a great job with those.
Thanks. I'm just amazed that I made this. Like, everyone's like, oh, I just picked up knitting recently and here I am. So yep, that's the salty tea. Nope. See, this is our problem. Sea salt tea.
Yeah. Going along the themes of t-shirts, I made the Minto tee, also in Knitting for Olive, cotton merino. This one also took me a long time. Let me see. This one was on the needle for like 3 months. It was really fun. Like the yoke was really fun and challenging. You're like, ooh, so many new things. And then once I got past the sleeves, like joining in the round, I was like, all right, I'm bored. So I definitely put this one on pause and did other projects while this was still just sitting there hibernating. And then one day I was like, okay, I want to knit something else, so I have to finish this so I can use the needles. I really liked it though. This is a really fun all over cable work pattern that just looks really pretty. I thought it was going to be more oversized, like based off of the pattern, but again, I think my gauge is just off in everything that I knit, so I shouldn't be that surprised, but it looks okay when it's on. The neckline definitely stretched out some. I didn't have my smaller needles with me when I was knitting the neckline, and I said, oh well. And I definitely regret that. I should have waited till I got home to knit the neckline because it's already kind of stretching. But other than that, it's really lovely. I like the drape of it. Like the cotton merino is really nice. I was hoping that the merino part of it would help hold the cables well. So we'll see how it holds up over time. I've only worn it a handful of times, but it's really pretty and it's a nice standout piece. Like people know I knitted it, but not because it looks super handmade. So that's always kind of nice. A nice feeling when you're like, wow, I knit that. So that's my Minto tee by Knitonomy, or I think Magdalena Parker is her name. Next I knit some vanilla socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. And these are my first time knitting socks. I definitely want to knit more socks because I was like, these are really fun. Just kind of like those baby knits. You're like, wow, it's just really fascinating. But I think I should learn how to knit 2 at a time, because second sock syndrome was really bad. I did not want to knit the second one. But I also like that they're small. I can throw them in my work bag, whatever. And so if you knit 2 at a time, then it's kind of less small. But my gauge was way off. Here, you want to hold one up? Sure. So one sock is really the right size and one is really big. So my second sock, my gauge got a lot tighter. I think I just knew what I was doing better. But these are the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks on Magic Loop. I just used some regular sock yarn from Joann's. I don't know, 75% wool, 25% nylon, I think. They're a little bit itchy. They don't quite fit right. I'm very picky about my socks. So I was hesitant to knit socks because the learning curve of like trying to figure out just the right fit and the right feel. I'm like, how many stitches do you do? I don't know. I've never knit socks before. So it was a good introduction. I'm excited to knit some that actually fit me well in the future. So those are my socks that I did. So next I have one of my other ones that I'm really proud of. This is my Amaretta blouse. She released the pattern and like the next day I was like, I have to knit that. So this is the one that I made me finish my Minto tee. I was like, I can't have 2 fingering weight t-shirts on the needles at the same time. And I'm really proud of this one. This one I used the Le Petit lamb's wool, and it's just like, it blocked out so beautifully. Like it's lovely. I loved this pattern. It was very unique. You like start with the shoulders and then you end up joining them in the back. You start with like 5 stitches. And I was like, I don't know, this is going to be a sweater, but it did work out. The pattern has a lot of different like things that you can do differently to change it up. So it had instructions for knitting it flat with a button band or in the round. And I said, well, I want a button band, but I don't want to knit it flat. So I decided to knit it in the round, and then I use like a barber cord to pick up an extra stitch along the front here. And then I use those stitches to knit the button band, a double knit button band again after the fact. And then I did the scalloped edging with crochet, and it's fake, which is the other thing. Like I think in the pattern, if you do it knit it flat, you're supposed to like seam it together so it's not like bursting at the seams when you wear it. And so I was like, well, if I'm just gonna sew it closed, why wouldn't I just knit it in a circle? That's so much easier. But I love this shirt so much. It just feels so pretty. Like definitely one of my prettiest pieces. You just feel very like elegant in it. So.
And you finally chose a color. Yeah. Elissa has a tendency to just gravitate to browns and grays. And I'm so proud of her. This color looks so good on her.
Actually, our little sister picked it out. She went to our favorite yarn store with me. And I was like, I don't know. Do I want this one or this one? She was like, why not this one? I'm like, sure, why not? Let's do it. And I'm really grateful that she said that because it looks really good. It also like opened my eyes. I've always said that purple is my favorite color. And then I realized I don't own anything in purple and I never wear anything purple because I never thought it looked that good on me. And I was like, well, who cares? My favorite color is purple. I should knit things in purple and wear purple. So now I've got more purple things on the needles. Okay, the next project that I did was some gift knitting for Christmas. So I wanted to knit our younger sister some mittens for Christmas because I got her for Secret Santa. I knit the Tilda mittens, which are just this beautiful like cabled design. Yeah, they're pretty cute. Yeah, you can put the other one on too. I used like a blown alpaca yarn from Joann's. I don't know, it just was like, that's the one, I want to do that. I made a couple modifications, like I added, sorry, I just hit you. I added like an extra cable repeat because they were really short and we do not have short fingers. And then I tried to add extra stitches around the thumbs because there's like a little hole, but I don't think it really worked that well. And then after I knit one pair, I thought, these were really easy. I can knit sweaters for my in-laws, or not sweaters, mittens for my in-laws. So I did, and
how many did you make?
I made 4 pairs of mittens within like a 3-week time span, and that was too many. I never want to knit mittens again. It's just too much. I have this pattern memorized, and I think it will forever be in the back of my mind how to make the Tilda mittens. So, but it was a really fun pattern, really easy, really quick. So it was worth it, and they all loved the gifts, but it really makes you think about gift knitting. So the last gift knit that I made in 2024 was a sweater for one of my best friends, combination for her birthday / for Christmas. That one took me a while too. I cast it on the end of September and I didn't finish it until, we'll say January 3rd, counting it as a 2024 knit though. But it's the Home Sweater V-neck by Kadri. I'd already knit this sweater for myself in 2023. And so I was like, this one's pretty easy. She's very like sensitive to things on her skin though. So again, we just use like an acrylic yarn from Joann's. And I wish I would have like done more, like had her try like my sweaters close to her neck to see which one would fit well. Like, cause I think even this wool probably would have been fine. And just knitting with acrylic, it's not for me. Like the squeakiness of the yarn, but you don't learn that until you've done it a couple times and you're like, to me, it's like worth it to buy the higher end yarn and make a nicer quality sweater. Like I know she would take care of it. She's a very knit worthy person. So I'm like, if you knit on a sweater for 3 months and you're like, oh, but it's this acrylic sweater that's going to pill in 2 days and not going to have all the nice qualities of wool. So we'll see how it turns out. But definitely one of those learning things for me to like, just get the nicer yarn. She's worth it in my mind. I would pay more money to buy a nicer sweater for her. So I definitely have regrets on that, but it's all right. It's done now.
And I did do a few gift knits. I made the Stockholm hat. Is that what it's called? Oslo hat. One of the cities by Petite Knit. And I just used a merino wool from Joann's K&C yarn or something. But I made one for my father-in-law and also one for my boss. So that was fun. But I also bought yarn to make like 4 more hats and I just ran out of time. Sorry to the other friends that I was going to make you hats. I didn't.
They don't know that.
They don't know. Well, to end the year, we really tried our best to make sweaters for Christmas that we could match. And it didn't happen. But we did make something else happen. And we made our sweaters into little vests. The Porcelain sweater by
Lynn at Home Samso, I think. Yeah, Lynette. I love this pattern so much. This was really fun, especially after like all the stockinette projects as we've both been doing. We were like, okay, we want to challenge ourselves, do something more. And we really balled out on the yarn. Mine is holding Santa's Garn Sunday, but double. and then Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. And she just did hers in double Sunday and soft silk mohair. So these are definitely the most expensive sweaters that we've ever owned. We also didn't do the math correctly, so we ran out of yarn and had to buy more. So they're pricey, but they're so lovely and so wonderful, and hopefully going to be one of those like timeless pieces that lasts a long time. Yeah, I just finished mine off with some little ribbing on the armband to wear for Christmas Eve, and you cast off your neckline in the car on the way to the Christmas Eve service. So we wore them and we matched, and it was really wonderful. You should show yours. She actually started knitting on the sleeve again. I have yet to go get more mohair, but she finished one sleeve. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Look at this. It's just so lovely. All the different color work patterns make it really fun. Just kind of make you want to keep working on the next thing. Keeps your attention well. She added a little bit of color work to the end of the sleeve cuff, which I will definitely doing on mine because it looks so good. Which of the 3 colorwork motifs was your favorite?
Probably controversial, but I did like the leaf one, even though it was hard to see as you were making it, hard to see what was happening. And it was also not really rhythmic. Like you had to think about it more. But I do love the leaf. It just feels like balanced to have something natural and also something consistent. I love this. It's insane. I really want to wear it, so I'm hoping that our yarn store will have the yarn today so I can finish it. But I think I'm going to do something else with the neck. I just kind of cast it off frantically in the car. Just a normal cast off, so it barely fits over my head. I don't know. Do I like, what is this called? When the neckline just...
I don't know.
Oh.
Like a funnel neck? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, something like this, or do I do the folds like it recommends or that the pattern calls for? Great way to end the year. I'm going to count this because I did wear it in public. So I'm counting it.
Yes.
And I have a lot of plans for this next year, so there's not room for this.
No. I low-key want to put mine on right now as we go to the yarn store and just wear it there because I'm so incredibly proud of these ones. Definitely one of my favorite knits. I'll wear it a lot for sure. All right, that was our 2024 knitting, everything that we knit. Hopefully you enjoyed watching our progress, kind of hearing our thoughts on things, what we could have done better, what we loved most about things. We hope to continue to do some podcasts maybe every month or so. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So tune back in if you want to hear more of what we have to say about our knitting or follow along for our knitting journey. Thanks. What do you have to say for yourself?